Geoff, I've only met Geoff a few weeks ago, and from my buddy Nick and Brad, and he's a guy after my own heart. He's an old ball player, and we have a lot in common. So I just wanted to introduce him. I got 2 pages, and as you all know, I hate reading this. It's so impersonal, but I'm going to do it anyway, Geoff. Some of it. Geoff has a great passion for sports and kids. He believes that every youth athlete has a potential to be the next best athlete that's ever played the game. And he's going to tell you what he played and who he played with. So this is coming from a guy that knows what he's talking about. Geoff also recognizes that there is a ton of misinformation and things professional athletes do that we never are taught during developmental stages. Geoff was born into a military family who told him that he had the potential to do whatever he wanted, even when the rest of the world told him that he couldn't. He was born, and I'm going to save that part, okay? I'm going to save that part. But this guy is a great husband, father. He has a great ministry, but he has a great business. And for time's sake, I'm going to just say, Geoff, come on up here, get up here, and we'll give him a big hand. You can get overwhelmed with the details, but I want you to hear the heart of his message, and the heart of his message is really something. The guy's been through a lot, and you guys are going to be blessed today. Go ahead, Geoff.
Thank you. Thank you all for having me today. Can everybody hear me? I'm not very loud, so.
Why don't you take it off and
Yeah, just take it off if you want to.
Take it off?
hold it like a nice shoe.
All right. Can everybody hear me now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, that's better. All right, good. My name is Geoff Rottmayer. I met Michael a couple weeks ago, like he said, and he asked me if I wanted to come here and kind of speak and talk about my story a little bit. And obviously, I'm always looking for an opportunity to do that. I got a message from Mick yesterday to remind me that I was coming, so I don't have a whole lot prepared for that, but I'm just going to talk from my story, my heart, and I'm going to talk kind of something that we can all relate to, and it's something that I think needs to be shared with more. I work with kids all day long, so I think it's something that needs to be shared, and that's the concept of failure. Something that all you guys, we got a lot of experience in failure in here, and I think that's good. I'm probably the youngest one in here. I'm in my mid-30s, so, but I've got quite a bit of it. So let me just kind of go through my story, and basically what I'll do is I'll just talk about who I am, where I came from, what I'm doing now, and then kind of where I hope to be going. So my mom is from Chicago. Does anybody hear me still? Okay, my mom's from Chicago. My dad's from Bartlesville. They both joined the military after their high school years. They met in Pensacola, Florida, and they got married after 3 months. And they're still together today, so it's great. They obviously, being in the military, they've been all over the world. We got a military base all over the place. My brother was born in Cuba, so that's his passport said born in Cuba, so which is really interesting. But my brother's 18 months older than I am. Then I was born in the Chicago area. There's a military base up there somewhere in Illinois. My brother and I were both born with a hearing loss. So that was an interesting challenge right out of the gate. And of course, I didn't know it at the time. It's like, okay, whatever. I thought it was normal. But I had to go get hearing aids at a young age. And back in those days, the thing was as big as my head. But they weren't that good then. So what that created an interesting challenge for me when I got into school and trying to learn how to read and talk to people and just listen to music, listen to TV and all that stuff. So needless to say, I had to do a lot of special courses, a lot of special classes to learn all that. And the one thing that got me away from the real world was the ability to play outside. And playing outside, to me, that wasn't hunting and fishing and all that stuff. To me, it was anything that had a ball that I got to throw around or kick or hit or something, I did. At this time, I'm in Michigan, so we had 2.5 acres. So, you can imagine I took a soccer ball, kicked as far as I could, hit a ball as far as I could. Used to take a bucket of baseball out in the back of the yard and just throw it as far as I could. My house, we had a wood siding house, and the garage part was all chipped up from all the wood from hitting that house. And of course, my parents never knew because they never went outside until we sold the house and go move down to Florida. So they weren't too happy about that. But that's where I left my mark with my throwing. So I had one of those little what do they call it, a little tarp with a little hole in it, throw to. So I would always, what I would do with it, and I didn't know what I was doing at the time was good, but what I would do was I would just sit there and I would visualize. I would visualize myself in that game 7, championship game. And I would win it over and over and over and over and over. Same thing with the hitting. And the other thing that I did and I don't know why I did this, but I used to practice blowing that call. I used to practice making that ball forward walk, everybody walk in. And, I used to take myself through that period where I blew the game. And of course now I'm like, man, that's brilliant, But at the time I'm like, no, I didn't know what I was doing. But then I used to pretend like I would go to a podium and I would talk about, okay, I blew the game, but hey, next year's coming. So that I was one of those kids, and we probably are still, and we all probably know them, kids who have an imagination that talks to themselves a lot. I'm that guy. I still talk to myself a lot. So, but I think that the skill set that I teach to my guys is the ability to see what you're trying to do. I'm so good at it now that I can actually, it's like watching a movie. And I think it's a skill set that kids need to have. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. But so sports was my escape from school, from the everyday life, from all the challenges I had trying to just to hear, just to hear my teachers and hear my friends. I would be missing a lot of things. It's one of those things like, hey, kind of like I know what you're saying, but I didn't, and I was guilty of that, and I wish I wouldn't have. But anyways, during that time too, we also went over to, my dad got out of the military. We went, he started his own consulting firm and doing engineering and structure management, project management for building telephone networks. And he got himself a project in Saudi Arabia. So my brother and I got to go over to Saudi Arabia. An interesting, it was a culture shock, to say the least. But it was an experience that I thought was not a lot of kids got to do, and it made me really appreciate the culture that we have. If you've ever been over there, you can see how different the culture is and what we take for granted here. When we got back from Saudi Arabia, we lived in Saudi Arabia and Bahrain. So if you guys know Bahrain, the island that connects to Saudi Arabia. And it's not so dry over there, so it's actually more Americanized there. And it was a much better experience in Saudi Arabia. But anyway, after that we came back to Florida, or back to Michigan. I was living in Michigan at the time. And my brother was a big time football player. And then there was me, baseball. But my brother, my mom wanted to put him in a position to be able to showcase his ability. So we moved down to Florida, Clearwater, Florida, to be exact. And we went to a school called Countryside High School. And my brother did really well there with football. He ended up going to college, played football. I played baseball. I played football my freshman year and my senior year. I didn't play my sophomore and my my junior year, because my brother went, and I played the same position he did, and I was my brother's biggest fan. And one of the coaches were trying to get back to my brother to get him to work a little harder. Not that he doesn't work hard, my brother worked very, very hard. He started me over him one game, and I was like, I'll just take a couple years off, let him go, and then I'll play again. So did that. High school was hard. High school was very hard. I managed the path. I managed to get the 3.0. I managed to meet all the criteria that I needed to be able to go to college. Got them offers to play football. Well, the defensive end, everybody wanted me for tight end. So I made a mistake. I caught a ball one time, and everybody wanted me for tight end. So that was interesting. So, but then at that same time, baseball was always my game. Baseball was what I wanted to. I used to, after football practice, I used to go to the cage and hit a couple buckets before I left. And that's just how I always was. And I used to take sometimes I would take a bucket and just go foul pole. All I wanted to do was throw and work on my game. And football was just a way to, a way to, I guess, stay active. I don't really know why I play football, but baseball was always, the what I was trying to shoot for, which is what I was trying to, pursue. And when I got, I got committed to a place, to play football, and I'm getting ready to go to college, and I don't pass the test. The test for the SATs, the ACTs, and all that stuff. I don't pass it, and I ended up going to a junior college here in Oklahoma from Florida. So I went to Seminole, and what was interesting was they put me through a series of tests, and what they found was I couldn't really read. So here I am, 18 years old. I could read words, I just couldn't comprehend. So here I am, I made it through school, and I couldn't even read. So, there's always an interesting story about how I ended up in Oklahoma, from Florida. But I think it was because, somehow God led me there to be able to, they taught me how to read there. And the very first book that I read after I was able to learn how to read was Think and Grow Rich. And it's a book that I read over and over and over again. And when I started reading, that actually opened up a whole new world for me. And it was something that, now it's all I do. I read too much. But I grew up watching, my mom and my dad read a lot too. So I grew up watching that. And I can remember sitting there saying, God, how can they comprehend that? My dad used to take stuff and implement it. I'm like, okay, I'm reading this book and I can't implement it. Why? Because I'm reading the words, I'm not comprehending what it's saying. So the process of being able to learn how to read was just it just opened up the world for me. And I started to learn about, the internet was coming around. I started to learn about the game of baseball. Because that was my escape. And back in those days, there was a lot of, status quo type of information available. And so I did everything. If I read it, I tried it. I was what they would call coachable. Because I figured, someone had the best interest in me to be able to get where I want to go. And I tried it. I did everything. There was never a time I said no to somebody, never. Because they all had the best interest. They knew what they knew, and we did what we did. So now where we're at is I end up back in Florida. I go play ball down there, and I'm continuing to learn to read. I'm actually getting into the social life. I had a roommate there that made me get out very just kind of myself. I would sit there, read a book, just kind of be on my own. And he got me out there in the social life. And it was very good for me in the sense of kind of getting outside of my shell. because I was brought up with this guy who, had a hearing loss. I was, missing a lot of the conversation a lot of times. So that was a great experience for me. That right around that time, the hearing aids were catching up. The technology of the hearing aids were great. I was able to go in the other room and still hear the TV, which is awesome. I was able to listen to music, which is awesome. Music and reading is everything I do now. So all that to say that I ended up getting drafted by the Marlins. And while I'm going through there, I tore my labrum. So I have that story that a lot of guys have. And the labrum, I retired from the game. And it was really, I was really lost at that time. I mean, very lost. I mean, I felt defeated. I felt like I failed. And I'm one of those guys, I'm okay with failing. I had a unique ability to look at failure differently at a young age. And I don't know where that came from, but I was able to do that differently at a young age. And I always embraced it, but I was lost this time. I really felt defeated because there were so many people that helped me along the way that I felt like I let them all down. So right around that time, when I'm trying to figure out what I want to do, I go get a job at a local beach club in Florida. I'm in Fort Myers, Florida right now. I get a job at a local beach club, and then I start training baseball players. And I wanted to take a different approach when I work with kids. And the approach, I wanted them to learn to visualize. I wanted them to learn to embrace failure. I wanted them to learn and understand what they were doing. There was much more to it than just saying, hey, do what I tell you to do. But while I was going through that process, I realized I didn't know anything. I didn't really know a whole lot. So what I started doing was I started hitting the books. I really started hitting the books, and I started trying everything. And I started with throwing. I wanted to know why I got hurt. Why did I get hurt? I worked so hard. I did all the arm care. I did everything I had to do. Why did I get hurt? And I found that there were more efficient ways to do things. And I figured there was. There's more efficient ways to do anything. I was always one of those guys that said, hey, that could be done better. I've never really voiced my opinion, but I would say, that could be done better. And that started my whole journey into understanding this game. And then that transferred into the hitting, understanding hitting. And I was like, man, that could be more efficient, and it was. That we could be much more efficient, and I went into hitting. And so now I have the baseball foundation, which is obviously became my platform to reach kids. I work with kids because I want them to succeed. I work with kids because I want them to learn how to embrace failure. I work with kids because I can see stuff in them that they don't see. And there's a lot of things that I felt kids need to learn more of or hear more of. And the first one is really the failure story. I really wish more people would be open up about their failures because everybody can relate to that. And so I always try to take the time to get to know these kids and start to understand their story and figure out how we can take that and move on. Now, I'm such a forward thinker, I've never really worried about this. And really, that was an interesting challenge when I first started working with kids was, okay, that happened 10 years ago. Move on. But it's a big problem. A lot of kids don't know how to move on. So that was something that I really had to learn was, okay, let's really understand them. And let's really put through the use of baseball. Okay, I'm using this through baseball. They don't know this, but I'm using it through baseball. I'm going to make them a better player, but more importantly, I want them to learn how to persevere, learn how to embrace failure, learn how to move on. So that was where I wanted to take my teaching. And that was to okay, I'm gonna teach you everything you know about baseball, but more importantly, I'm gonna teach you how to lead. You know, if kids don't know how to lead, they need to be taught that stuff. Okay, then I'm gonna teach you how to embrace failure, because failing is okay. The more you fail, I would tell them, I'm gonna fail my way to the top. I'm gonna fail my way to the top. And then it got into just learning how to commit. You know, there's a lot of different things that we can teach these kids through baseball. Baseball, we all know, is the game of failure. And any sport is, for that matter. But definitely baseball. You can learn a lot through baseball. And I always try to tell these guys, look, let's tie it to life. Let's tie it to life. And so that's kind of where I'm at now. I started a business here called Athletic Mission Baseball Academy, and we opened up 2 years ago. We're doing really well. The whole goal was to get kids to embrace failure, and get kids to start visualizing, and getting kids to understand hard work is hard work. I don't have AC in my place. I don't have heat. So during the summer, it's hot. During the winter, it's cold. And anytime between there, it is what it is. And it sucks for me. It sucks for me, but for them, it's good because it gets them out of their comfort zone. You know, it gets them out of their comfort zone. And that's what we're trying to do, because life is hard. We all know that. Life's hard, and these kids they don't understand that. So they need that coaching, and they need that mentorship, and that's what I try to do. In addition to the baseball, you know, where I want to take this is eventually we want to open up an academy, so a full-fledged academy where we can get into much more deeper things, such as Christ. You know, I try to use a little bit of that. I don't use as much as I want. I still got work to do myself, but there's definitely a big picture that we want to get into, from a personal development standpoint, be a holistic approach. So that's kind of where we're going with the thing with these kids. So okay. Am I good? Okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. That's kind of my story. That's all I got. Yeah.
Tell us about your family. You married, got children? Or?
Yeah. I got a wife. I got a wife who's from Sand Springs. I got a 4-year-old daughter, and I tried to teach her as much as I got to teach her to take on this world. You know, I start young. The sooner we can start, the better. And do I do it through baseball, softball? Yeah. You know, she likes to get out there and swing it, and then I get to do my little skill. So it's always a great conversation. She loves it. Whole hour. I can't get her to stop. So normally at that age, she's only 4. Normally at that age, it's like 30 minutes and they're out. Their attention span's all over the place. Not her. She's sitting there whacking that bag. So yeah.
What age group do you start at how far with these kids?
Yeah. Typically right now what we did was we're starting from 12 to 18, really what we're targeting. We just released, we're starting October, a foundation course. So what I do, because everything we do is, we do 3D analysis, which is biomechanical analysis, understanding how the body moves to deliver the most powerful swing and throw. And then we do the 2D, and then of course, everything I do is based off how we move. So it's not a traditional, just let me toss you ball. So a lot of times the kids that are younger than 12, they just don't get it. And what I do is I take my guys through a process too. So I don't give lessons, they go through a process. So they do their warm up, they'll do their arm care, they'll do their movement drills, they'll do their power throw. So there's a process they go through every single time. So they develop a routine, because at the end of the day, when they want to play college ball, play pro ball, and then go into business, the more we can understand routine, the better. So we're now releasing a young from 6 to 11, and it's going to take them through the same process, but it's going to be much shorter, be 30 minutes long. That way we can follow them into our big programs. Yes, sir.
dealing with the mind of a 12-year-old, what type of failures do they feel that they have at 12 years old?
Yeah, well, I mean, we're talking right now, we're living in an era where there's bullying. And what we would consider bullying nowadays, the standard of it now is it doesn't take much. You can look at someone wrong, they consider that bullying. And that's what they're dealing with these days, is they get kicked out of school or someone looked at them wrong and all that stuff, and they automatically classify that as bullying. So there's a lot of failure in terms of trying to create friends and fit in. Now in baseball, obviously, there's a lot of failure in trying to produce for the parents, because baseball has become an adult-driven business. It's become a business, and the stake of winning is overtaking the development. So these kids they're having more pressure than they've ever had in their life to produce on the baseball field. So what I try to do, I've got a couple teams. What we're trying to do is, hey, forget it. Let's go back to the Sandlot days. Let's go. You're 12 guys out there, go out and play baseball, have fun. But the culture doesn't allow that. So I always am sitting there saying, guys, remember, forget it. Forget the culture. Have fun. Go back to family. 12 guys playing baseball, having fun. And hopefully we can make enough impact over time. It can take a while. Over time, we can make enough impact and get the game to be fun again.
How do you deal with parents who are so driven for their kids to be successful, but then to remind them that it's also about being a kid and enjoying?
Yeah, that's always an interesting challenge, and it's always a conversation that either goes well or doesn't go well. And it is what it is. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to be upfront, because at the end of the day, it's all about the kid. It's not about you. Yeah, you're paying for it, but the kid has to want it. So typically, what I say is, look, he's 12. He's got time. He's got time. You don't have to win now. Just because Johnny Boy is getting training or he's doing better because he's 2 feet taller than you, you're not there yet. It's okay. You got time. So I tried to play the whole. You got time. There's time. There's room. It's not about winning. It's about development. So I gotta take that angle. Did that answer your question?
That sure did.
Okay.
Any more questions?
Where are you located?
We're located at 46th and Sheridan. So you'll see that Sam's Club there, that auto port, and we're back in there. From the outside, it don't look like much. When you walk in, it's the beauty. So no AC.
In your academy, when you have, like, if you have the potential of a kid that wants to be a pitcher, you teach him the fundamentals of over that. What if he has a great sidearm that you can channel that and tell him how to make that sidearm pitch without hurting himself, or do you try to keep him on a standard overhead pitch?
Yeah, well, I mean, every kid's different. So what we want to do is, a lot of times we'll get them on the 3D, and we'll see how they move. At the end of the day, it's really about how they move, rather than because there's some kids that they need to be down there. So if we come up here, then it's going to hurt them more. And that's kind of the issue that a lot of kids have, is they're, okay, my coach is trying to get me here, and all of a sudden his arm hurts. You can't understand why. Because you have a natural groove. And the natural groove, you got to let them go. Now, there's a pattern they need to go through to deliver the most efficient throw, whether that's down here or up here. So what we're trying to do is, okay, we'll keep them in the right slot, but we're going to work on the pattern. And then we're obviously build up all the little muscles around it. So.
Yeah, I need to know, do you get kids with learning disabilities? Oh, do you get kids with learning disabilities? And how do you approach?
That's something that I always try to ask parents if they have, like, ADD or ADHD, focus on it. And if they're not, then what it could, if they're not, then we let them kind of, hey, go get some water. Go get some water, and then when you're ready, come back, and just kind of space out the training a little bit. We also have what we call a neurotracker, and what that does is work on the cognitive part of the brain. So that helped with a lot of our ADD kids too. So that technology is really neat. It's going to be heading that way. More and more athletes are going to be using it. So we're pretty lucky that we have that.
Is that a nerve tracker, you said?
It's called a neuro tracker. Yeah. Neuro.
Do they have that for regular business people?
Yep. No, for real. I've had 2 or 3 businessmen come in and use it. Yeah, I try to use it every morning and just start my day off focused. So, but no, I've had businessmen come in and use it. Absolutely.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it.